Mr. Faso from New York, we welcome you to the subcommittee and look forward to hearing your testimony, and the floor is yours.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Ranking Member Bishop, I appreciate the opportunity to come before you today. I wanted to address the committee on a program that has worked very well in my rural district in upstate New York, the USDA Circuit Rider program to enhance rural water systems around our state and around our nation. It's no secret that our water infrastructure is outdated and stressed in many places around the nation. It's estimated over the next 20 years, over $300 billion will need to be invested in our nation's aging water systems. This is particularly a problem in rural areas because many rural communities simply cannot afford the upgrades or the establishment of rural water systems for their area. And that brings me to part of the solution. That is the USDA Circuit Rider program. It consists of 117 full-time employees that work throughout various rural water associations throughout the states. They provide support for nearly 31,000 utility system members around rural areas in our country. The Circuit Riders provide a variety of services, including support for day-to-day routine operational issues such as leak detection and water contamination. Riders also provide advice on financial and management issues to keep operators up to date with the best industry practices. And I can give you a very cogent example of the benefit of this program. Hoosick Falls, a small rural community in Rensselaer County in district. In 2015, it discovered that the water supplies of the village of Hoosick Falls were polluted with PFOA, perfluorooctanoic acid. Initial tests indicated that the water contained PFOA levels above 600 parts per trillion, well above the then EPA guideline of 400 parts per trillion for short-term exposure. That guideline, by the way, is in the process, I believe, of being dramatically lowered. In Vermont, for instance, the guideline is 20 parts per trillion. In New Jersey, it's 40 parts per trillion. New York has adopted a lower standard as well. Circuit Riders were the first on the scene and worked with the village over the course of a week in conjunction with local operators to flush the entire system and clear out large amounts of PFOA. And incidentally, the community was dealing with this polluted water. They didn't know it for over 2 to 3 years before it was discovered. Additionally, Circuit Riders were the first advisors to recommend the use of carbon filtration systems to remove the PFOA from the water and work closely with engineers and village officials to implement a filtration plan. While this program is small, it's integral to ensuring clean water in rural areas. In the last few years, the program has received an annual 3% cost of living factor built to sustain the competitive bid fixed price contract. To sustain the current workforce of 117 full-time employees who work in states all around the nation helping rural areas, I would request that the committee appropriate $17,404,000 to meet the contractual obligations. The rural water systems are already facing financial and technical strain, and decreasing the Circuit Rider program would dramatically affect their ability to provide pure and clean water for our rural communities throughout the nation. So, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I appreciate your attention today and hope you'll give consideration to this request.
Thank you. Certainly, we know that the Circuit Rider program is very important. I represent a rural district as well, and so we very much appreciate your weighing in on this issue and look forward to working with you on this. So your written testimony will be included in full in the record. And again, as I say, we look forward to working with you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.